This is Basketball More Than a Game with your hosts, Coach Goins and Coach Quick. Former high school coach and player have teamed up again to share their knowledge of the game and life skills on and off the court. Now here are Coaches G and Q.
All right, this is Coach Goins along with Coach Quick, and we're back for another fantastic episode of Basketball More in the Game, the hottest podcast this side of a basketball court. And like we always say, make sure you got your sneakers on, you got it laced up tight. We're hoping your teams are doing what they need to be doing, and that's getting some dubs. And we know sometimes L may come along, but it's all good. Coach Quick, what's popping?
Hey, what's going on, Coach G? You want to know what's popping with Coach Quick? Well, Coach Quick is so excited about this week's very special guest via telephone. I feel like I'm on the campus of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill by way of St. Louis, Missouri. And ladies and gentlemen, after this short break, Coach Goins is going to come right back and introduce you to our very special guest. So make sure those sneakers are laced up tight.
All right, so we're back in. Coach Quick has set the table. So what we're going to do, we're going to let Coach Quick have the honor and privilege of introducing our special guest. Coach Quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing our very special guest on the show today. He is the father of the point guard of the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, Caleb Love. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Basketball More Than a Game, Coach Dennis Love.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach Love, the first question I have for you, could you discuss what was the recruiting process like for Caleb, and how many coaches did you hear from on a week-to-week basis?
First, it was a really exciting process. Anytime you have the opportunity for your son, for your child to be recruited by schools, for schools to covet him and give him an opportunity to in essence, get, I call it $1 million opportunity, because to obtain a scholarship where you get your education paid for, get a degree without having to obtain student loans, as well as do it in a place where you can build relationships that can lead to endless opportunities. I think that was outstanding. So, the recruiting process was great from that perspective, to see your kid work so hard all of his life and make sacrifices and commitments, and then to see that come to fruition is definitely a great opportunity. As far as schools that we heard from, and, from the time that schools were able to contact him, they just came in droves. I mean, we heard from countless schools that contact him directly. We knew he was mature enough to handle it, and we would come in on the backside, so to speak. And so that opportunity, that experience was incredible, and he handled it and managed it pretty good.
Yes, sir. He appears to be a level-headed kid who's handling himself pretty good at the University of North Carolina right now. Coach G, I'll kick it over to you for the next question.
Well, you know what, folks, and that's why we're so excited to have Coach Love on the show tonight. Just giving that inside perspective of what it's like, what it looks like, the ins and outs, and why that's so important to be along the process. Because a lot of times people want all of that to come at you, or want it to come at their kid, but not able to balance it. And we certainly appreciate Coach Love letting that insight in. So, Coach, I know he ended up in Chapel Hill, and you all are from St. Louis. What was his, when he came home after he made his initial visit to Chapel Hill? What was that like when he walked back through the doors and said, "Dad, Mom, I really, really like Chapel Hill"? If you don't mind sharing that with us.
Well, obviously, the way we move as a unit, the three of us, and so we were on campus with him.
Okay, great.
We went on every recruiting visit with him. Any home visit, the three of us were there. So we were there from start to finish, and we'd have conversations and conferences and things like that. So, of course, Carolina was our second official visit. We visited Mizzou first. I had a great relationship with Coach Martin, and so of course it's the home state school. And when we went to campus at Chapel Hill, obviously, man, that experience, man. Coach Williams is awesome. He's honest. He's experienced. He's tough. He's competitive. In the history that is at Chapel Hill.
Yes, sir.
And just the community. It was a great place. And then obviously, we looked at it from a fit. Obviously, Cole had left. Kobe had left, and it just seemed it seemed like a perfect storm.
Yes, sir.
From Kobe to Caleb, and so of course, Caleb is a loyal person. Some other schools had recruited him so hard, and he had given his word that he was going to come to campus. And obviously, Carolina being the second visit, when we were at campus, we were overly joy, but we settled and said we'd wait until we arrived home and give Caleb that space to really pick it through. And he made his decision, I think, 48 hours later, and that caused some uncomfortable conversations and some somewhat ill feelings with some other colleges that he told, "No, I'm not going to come. Thanks for recruiting me. I'm not going to come." And some other schools felt the way about that.
I can understand. So we certainly appreciate you allowing us to kind of go back in the moment to be able to take a look at that process. Coach Quick, what you got?
Yes, sir. Coach Love, at what age did you know that Caleb would be a star athlete and ultimately be able to play at the next level?
Man, if I've had that question, I've come a few times. Star athlete, I would say I never really knew that he would be necessarily a star athlete. Caleb, I did know this, though, that he would be good in anything that he ever done. I mean, the kid has just been that kid from day one, it seems. The way he would study and he would pick up on things, we knew he would be special in whatever path he chose. Now, when it came to the athleticism, Caleb ran track and field. He was going to nationals and competing in long jump championships and was qualifying at an early age. He played baseball and he could play every position from pitcher to outfield to shortstop, third base. And he was doing this against kids older than him. Football. He played football, soccer. Basketball was what he really took a love to. See, when he was young, I just said, I'm gonna put him in all of this stuff,
yes,
these
sir.
different things, and whatever he picked up on and he liked, that's what we would go with. And so initially, he played all of the sports. Then it came to a point, I guess, around third, fourth grade, we said we're running all around. So Caleb chose two of them, and he went with basketball and football. And after a while, it was okay. We saw he really just had a thing for basketball. Man, I remember having a little goal in the basement and, working on his form so that he could shoot jump shots and things like that. He just really had it, and he was just really knew how to steal moments on the court, even when he would be with his teammates. And so at that point, I said, man, if you really want to do this, we're going to really do this. And we committed at an early age. His mom and I, we committed, man, and we took them all across the country. We take them to camps, John Lucas, different camps around the country, man, and because I wanted him to be in a position that if this is what you want to do, whatever kid across the country that's supposed to be good, we got to get in front of him. I got to see how do you do in those environments. And that's what we did, man. And he just got better and better every year, to the point that every year we were never competing or comparing to another kid.
Mm.
It was about, okay, each year, let's get better at something. Okay, you can shoot. All right, let's go improve the ball handle. Wow. All right, now let's make sure we're improving on rebounding and improving on moving our foot on defense, and let's improve our explosiveness. It was just always something that we focused on improving, and we get Caleb Love.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a dynamic basketball player, athlete. I'm personally glad to have him at Chapel Hill right now with the Tar Heels. So I'm definitely rooting hard and heavy for him.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir. Over to you, Coach G.
Hey, listen, folks, and I want you really to focus in on what Mr. Love is talking about. It's the body of work. It's the process. A lot of times people think, or they watch the game and they just think they go in, put on a pair of socks, put on some sneakers, put a warm up on, come out, take some shots, call some timeouts. But no, it is a body of work that Coach Love is really breaking down on what he and his wife sacrificed for their son. It's an investment. You got to be willing to the push all the chips in and go for what you know. So listen, we're gonna step away for a second, but our very special guest on today's show is Coach Love. All right, listen, this is Coach G, and I'm back and got Coach Quick, and we have on via telephone from St. Louis, Missouri. Somebody said, man, y'all know somebody. Matter of fact, I have to tell Mr. Love, I was in St. Louis not too long ago, and I know Coach Quick got a question about St. Louis, but yeah, I was in St. Louis. I went by Vashon High, went by Red Fox Lane. I'm a huge Sanford and Son fan. I wasn't out there just because of Red Fox, but I was out there on business and just had the opportunity to kind of cruise through some of the area and of course went by Vashon High, and of course that was on the episode of Fred Sanford, for those that know me and know how much I love Fred Sanford. But we do have on Caleb Love's dad, Coach Love. He is the starting point guard at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Coach Quick, I see you ready for that shot, so I'm going to throw it to you.
Yes, sir. Coach Love, first and foremost, before I get to my next meaty question, have you eaten the sweetie pies in St. Louis?
Man, you know what? It's a long time ago, man. Of course, you have to go sample, that's home. But it's been a long time. I wasn't good. I wasn't patient with dealing with the crowd, and the food was so good, man. So I have to have somebody just pick something up for me.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, the next question I have for you, and it's well documented and noted that during Caleb's freshman season, a lot of the guys were frustrated, and due to the lack of spacing that was on the floor, because Coach Williams believed in playing two bigs who actually were more two centers than a power forward and a center. So could you talk with us about some of the frustrations that Caleb had as a freshman and that you all had as a family?
Well, obviously, that's well documented. That was a different experience. When that's the side of the recruiting process. You go through. You played a certain type of basketball, and it's the understanding on both parties. Coaches say, they're going to play you basically the style you've been playing, and you believe that. However, in hindsight, it turns out to be a great experience for Caleb. As a dad, I've always put the onus on Caleb. You adjust, you adapt to any environment that you're in.
Wow.
See, when you're going through the recruiting process, what I would tell any kid, if you can get 80, 85% of what you wanted, I don't think it's ever going to be 100%. If you get 80 to 85%, you go and make the rest of it work. You're in a perfect world. You go make it work. And so that's what we placed on Caleb. Caleb is a worker. He's committed. And even in that situation, and it appeared to people, man, that Caleb couldn't shoot. Well, Caleb can shoot basketball, but it's real challenging when you have two bigs from a basketball perspective. When you have two bigs in the post, you even call one off for a screen. Then you go down to the lane. You got not only their other defender there, but you have your other big in the space as well. And so you don't have the movement and whatnot as you once did. So it put him in a position that he was either shooting 3-pointers or getting all the way to the rack. Well, you can't always get to the rack because, like I said, the spacing it's just the nature of the game. And so, the 3-point shot was never. Caleb used his drive to set up the 3-pointer, so to speak. It was not, the 3-point wasn't his go-to. And so it put him in a different situation. But look at God, man. You know, what it did is it forced him in a situation in which he really worked hard on in the offseason with Drew Hanlon, and who has helped him out so much and improved the shooting. Some of it also is the decision making on shooting. So, yeah, the system was the system, but if it worked for Cole, if it worked for Kobe, you know, my attitude was always, okay, Caleb, you are unique and your own special person, but we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. And that's what he did. That's what he's been doing. He's figured it out. And as I stated, man, you know, adversity reveals character. You know, and so I think that Caleb has proven to be tough and high character kid, and it's going to pay dividends for him not only in basketball but in life.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And that's powerful. And I can say the eye test doesn't lie. He still has an outstanding relationship with Coach Roy Williams to this day. Before every game, Caleb is giving Coach Williams a high five as he's coming out of the tunnel. So that's something that I watch closely. And you're 100% right. The game has evolved to now where you need spacing for these guards to be able to create either for themselves or for their teammates. When you got two bigs clogged up the lane, the game has just changed. I mean, take a look at the NBA game now. The Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns. They're playing one big with a hybrid four-man that can shoot the three ball. So I completely agree with you. And his character has stood the test of time. He's definitely a high character kid, and he's well coached, and he's a good teammate.
Yes, excellent teammate, man. He loves his teammates. Totally unselfish kid. High IQ. He's going to get people involved, and you know that's just who he is, man. I'm excited to be his dad.
Wow.
Yes, sir. All right, Coach Goins, over to you.
Hey, we know what I tell you what, Coach Quick, you did your homework, man. You need another pay raise, man. Just I'm glad to talk to the folks and here's the thing that I really want to frame out again to our listeners, and I certainly appreciate Coach Love's not only a father but his insight to be able to break this down and give that feedback to his son. His son understands the process because you have to adapt because as we said, and I'm not going to sit here and repeat ourselves, the game changes. Sometimes coaches have, this strategy, but I love how Coach Love talked about if you get 85%, you're fortunate. And be able to go out and be able to say, you know what, I got to work at my game because this year I may be on the court, but then turn around next year they may be bringing a guy in that say he's the number one player in the country. So I've got to stay focused. I got to do what the coaches tell me to do. I got to be grounded, and we definitely can see where Caleb gets his all of his when I say insight, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You can see that his parents are totally involved in the process, giving him that advice. Giving him that sound nature. So with that, Coach Love, here's my question for you. So if you were sitting down with a young team, and I'm going to say they were 10th graders, and you had that opportunity to talk to 10th graders and their parents were in the process, if you don't mind, give us an example of between passion and desire. What is in your opinion, what is the difference between having passion and desire?
Well, fortunately for me, I have been in those situations as I've coached at the high school level and I've coached AAU.
Excellent.
When you think about passion and desire, you have to have both of them.
Yes, sir.
But you definitely got to have knowledge with it, all right? So here's the deal, I joke about this, but I'm sincere. In my experience of coaching, or even when I played sports, I've not met a kid or a parent that didn't believe their kid was the next coming, the second coming of MJ himself, right? So you have to really place yourself in those environments to really know. And you have to be able to be honest with your kid and be honest with yourself. People see Caleb, for example, and man, we're blessed and we're honored and extremely humbled by much of the things that's coming this way. But I'll tell you, Caleb was the kid that really got it out of the mud. He came from the bottom. He was never considered the best kid, even locally at home. He was never considered the best kid in his class.
Wow.
And until maybe senior year, and even people were having debates about that. I'm talking about this is at home,
Wow.
right? We ain't talking about nationally, regionally, or nationally. So he wasn't considered that. Caleb entered the rankings, the national rankings, after his sophomore year. End of the summer, at I think 102, and he finished, I think, somewhere top 15. But that, if you look at the work that he did, the studying, the commitment that we made as parents in getting them across the country, and the competitive fire that it was, that he began to get those accolades. And so when people look at it and they say they want this or they want that, really, I would say go back to what I said, measure yourself.
Yes, sir.
When you're not comparing, but look at yourself. Does your kid, is he explosive? You can go do some things to get explosion out.
Right.
And as parents, if you really want that, you're going to have to commit a financial sacrifice. If your kid, you might have to train your kids and get them with certain coaches and things like that. It's not the day like it was in my day when everybody just went and did things on their own and just went out to the parks on their own. Nah, man, you got to really specify and go get this different training and commit to things like that. I would say that the parents have to be as committed as the kid. And when I tell you that we gave up the last 20 years of our life, we're still doing it to make sure that kid had everything. If you really want it like that, that's what's going to be required. And that's different passion and desire when you really want it. And it wasn't about, let's get you to pro ball. Yes, and speaking of our Caleb like that in that language, but it wasn't about that. It was about just making sure we give our kid the best opportunity that he would want, and
wow.
That definition is different to some people. See, some people might say, you're giving them the best, that's require all of that. We never looked at it like that. We wanted to make sure we put it all in, and we didn't hold anything back, so that way when we looked at ourselves, we can say, yes, we gave it our best shot.
Wow. Wow.
Amen.
Amen. So listen, folks, we have on Coach Love. He is the father of Caleb Love, starting point guard at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And again, just the transparency. We just can't thank you enough. And for you young guys that's going to be listening, and all of you subscribers and followers, take it to heart. Sit down with this show and just listen. Grab your mom, grab your dad, and because again, who's on the show today is not somebody that's, woulda, coulda. His son is actually in the process. His son is on the court. His son is in Chapel Hill. They are doing it, and you are hearing it firsthand. Coach Quick, what you got?
Yes, sir. Coach Love, could you talk about what your initial thoughts were on the decision of Roy Williams to retire, and then on Hubert Davis being named the head coach?
Man, it was, it was a lot of emotions, right? It was a lot of emotions. First, you choose a school. That's one of the things you go through with the recruiting process. You want stability in that sense. I want a coach that's going to be here, and obviously, Coach is a legend.
Exactly.
And Coach, you can't speak. Can't say anything about Coach results. You can talk about the system or whatever, but Coach got results, and the recruiting class that Coach brought in with Caleb's class. I said it. I said this is a national championship class. I said that from the beginning. Didn't necessarily say it was going to be in year one or whatever, but I believe that was. I still believe it was a national championship class. And so when we got the word that Coach was going to retire, man, we were a little bit outdone. We kind of went into a bit of anxiety because first it's like, man, Coach leaving. And now you're saying who's going to get the job. And, a lot of times when you get a new coach, it's like you're going to a new school, so to speak, because, we don't know what the coach is going to bring. And so we went through that. Obviously, Caleb had some things pulling on him on if he should go pro or not. You know, man, the G League, it was some things that was on the table. And so going through the process, Caleb knew he wanted to go back to UNC because some things didn't go. As far as pro ball, we just knew it wasn't time. You know, we decided we weren't going to even go and test the process. You know, and so when Coach Davis was named, and we had conversations, Caleb had conversations, he said, we're definitely coming back. And we're here. And, you know, thoughts on let's get to the national championship game, you know.
Yes, sir. And you know, you and I had conversations in the summertime. You never would tell me if he was coming back or not, but you always said Caleb's not a quitter. He's a winner. He don't run away from anything. And
you know, man. You know, and there's no shot. I know it's open season now, and kids are doing it. And as far as people were pulling on us, like, man, would you guys transfer and things like that? I have never, if you check my history, even as he was playing ball growing up, I have never been the guy that even allowed him to say, you know, now we are going jump ship.
Wow.
You know, man, I'm telling you, we playing AAU, man, and some teams will say, okay, we know Caleb is not going to quit his team because Caleb is really a loyal spirit like that. We know he's not going to another team, but can he come just go to nationals? You guys are not going to nationals. Just let him come go to nationals with us. And Caleb would say, no, if I'm going to go, I'm going to get my own team there. Right. You know, we're going to work for it. And, you know, he's never been the kid that, you know, like you may be good enough. And we may have another kid good enough. And you two go over there and leave the other guys behind.
Wow.
That's just not who, you know, that's not who we are. That's not who he is. And so that's the way he's always moving. So, no, we never thought about transferring because we're going to get here. We're going to go. We're at the University of North Carolina. You know, yes, you may want to say a few schools are as good, but there's no one better. So where are we going?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
We're here.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about the conversations we had during the summer. I'm high on Caleb, and I think he's going to continue to improve and get better. I really do. All right, Coach Goins, I see you standing in the corner waiting on this pass for the three-point shot.
Well, you know what? Now that my feet set, I think I'm getting ready to pull the trigger. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. And via telephone, we have on Coach Love. He is the father of Caleb Love, and Caleb is starting point guard at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. We're going to step away, and we'll be right back.
Looking for a smarter way to shop for your insurance for you and your families? Look no farther. There is help. With several different companies and plans to choose from, whether it's life insurance or Medicare supplemental plans, finding the right plan has never been easier. Licensed with multiple companies and able to shop various rates, plans to help find the best plan for you and your budget. Independent insurance broker Curtis Jackson is the one to call for help. Call Curtis now at 919-614-5796 for a no-cost consultation.
All right, this is Coach Goins and Coach Quick, and via telephone from St. Louis, Missouri. No, we're not eating at Sweetie Pies. We have got on Coach Love, who is the father of Caleb Love, who is at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, starting point guard. So listen, as we've talked a little bit about everything, we talked about Sweetie Pies, we done talked about basketball, but before we went to break, Coach Love really he really lit a fire under me when he was talking about being dedicated and kids. Think about it. His son's at Carolina. Where would he go? Was it where he going to transfer to Clemson? He going to transfer to Boston College? Why if you're at the pinnacle, if you and you're climbing the mountain, and think about what Mr. Love is talking about beyond basketball, the network, the people that have gone through that institution and be able to say, you know what, I played basketball at University of North Carolina, and the relationships well off the court. It speaks volumes, not just to Caleb, but it just shows his upbringing and just shows that he is well rooted, and I certainly appreciate Coach and his transparency. So now with that, here's a question that I've got for you, Coach. So Caleb comes home in the off season. What is the number away from basketball? What is the number one thing the father and son like to do?
Well, we do think Caleb's very competitive. We're gonna do some top golf.
Okay.
You know, he likes to watch movies. You know, that's his thing. But other than that, he wants to go to the gym.
Well,
I would love to tell you something else, but he loves the gym.
There's nothing. I understand that nothing wrong with the gym, right? And again, if all right. So if you don't mind, what's his favorite movie to your knowledge?
And lately he's been watching different series.
Okay.
I'm not going to even lie and tell you I know all of them. You know, he'll turn me on to some of them. You know, All American. I know that was one.
Oh,
that's one of my favorites.
he had gotten into Power.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell you I know what's the latest one that he's watching. You know,
but
he's so like to do basketball right now.
But that's all right. That's fine. Again, if folks are listen, you know what? That's the thing. You know, when you're a hoopster, and sometimes you step away, and you may pick up the clubs, or may pick up the remote just to kind of get away. But we certainly appreciate you letting us into a little insight. Coach Quick, I say you. What you got?
Yes, sir. Coach Love, what are your thoughts on the early season and this weekend's two games at the Hall of Fame Classic, and what are your expectations?
Well, you know, we just come off 2 losses.
Yeah.
So I would say, man, you know what? It's a team that we're young and we're in the early stages. I think, first of all, you play these games, you want to get into this environment, and you learn what you have, you know, when you deal with adversity. You know, if you're taking on cupcakes, you know, you don't really learn what you have. And so I believe that the coaching staff learns more, you know, and leadership really identifies some things that they have to do. I think the players learn more. You know, obviously, from a coaching perspective, there are certain things that I have been seeing, you know, and now they would get to identify those things and fix it. They got to fix it. This team can be really good. We got to get tough. You know, anybody that watches basketball, I think we can agree that, man, our defense is too vanilla. You know, we're not tough as we can really be. And when you look at the type of athletes that we have, the athletes and the ability we have, we got to go get tougher on you know, we got to win 50-50 balls. We got to rebound more. We got to show some fight. We got to show some Carolina pride. And when we, you know, recognize that you have that name on the front of your chest, your opponent is coming in to fight a little harder towards you. You know, they got an extra energy. So you got to match that intensity and say, okay, you know, I'm coming back with the same force, you know, because just the edge. I wish kids would understand that just because you're wearing that jersey, all the legends that have worn that jersey and the championships that, and you know, people are fighting hard against you. They're trying to build a reputation, build up their name off of what they did against North Carolina. And so I think it's important that that's what we take from this, man. And I'm not one to get this early. I'm not going to lose my head because we lost a couple of games, but it's what we come away from it with. How do we go and grow from it, you know? And I trust that the coaching staff is going to do that, and I trust those kids and are going to go fight and do that. And we'll see going forward. We're not looking past an opponent. We got Appalachian State. Then December 1st, we got a party in the Dean Center.
Yes, sir. We got the Wolverines coming to town.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What are your thoughts of, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but right now the 2-point guard system. How do you feel that's flowing?
I'm gonna move past that one right now.
All right, I definitely understand. Can I elaborate some thoughts on it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, from what I see, I think you got to go with one or the other. Caleb or RJ, one or the other needs to start, and maybe move Kerwin into the starting lineup as the 2 guard. And that's just from what I see, my perspective on that, because I just don't know. You got to have a better balance. You got to have a better balance.
You don't get a disagreement. You don't disagreement here.
Yes, sir. I would go with Caleb, Kerwin, Leakey, Dawson, and Baycott. That would be my 5. That would be my set 5, and I would go from there and try to improve.
Yeah, you don't get a disagreement here.
All right, Coach G, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Well, listen, as an outside Carolina guy sitting here, I see y'all down in the laboratory with the test tubes, and I see the stuff flowing. But no, just great dialogue, and I understand and certainly appreciate your time, your talent, Coach Love, and just what you brought to the show has really been impactful, not just for me personally, but I'm sure our listener audience will be able to walk away with the same thing, is be able to, a lot of times parents want that responsibility or want their kids to be able to get those letters and be able to have all of those things coming, but you've got to be able to navigate those waters. And I think what you've been able to share with us tonight will give them that insight and give them that perspective, not only from a parent, but also from the student athlete as well. So I certainly appreciate your dialogue, and we wish nothing but the best for Caleb this basketball season, and as he continues to push the ball down the floor and even beyond basketball. And also, we definitely wish you and your family definitely blessings during the holidays and continue. So, Coach Quick, I'll kick it over to you for your wrap up.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach Love, I just want to say thank you for accepting the invitation to come on our show. It's been great to sit here to just pick your brain about basketball, talking about Caleb, and just, the flow that you and your family, Miss Felicia, the things that you did for Caleb growing up and you're continuing to do. I totally respect that. And any parents out there that are listening, support your kid that's on his way to college. Do anything you can to make sure he's successful, just as Coach Love and Miss Felicia have done for Caleb.
Coach Love, your Coach Love, your final comments, please.
Hey, I thank you guys for allowing me to participate in this. I think that giving back is extremely important, and if you got information and knowledge to share with people, that's as much as anything tangible. So I'm honored you guys would allow me to speak on this, even being representing Caleb, and we're just going to go forward, and we're going to say keep doing the work that you guys are doing, and let's go Tar Heels.
How about that?
Yes, sir.
How about that? So again, Mr. Love, to you and your family, and we just wish you continued success moving forward. Coach Quick, get us to the locker room.
Yes, sir. For Coach Goins, our very special guest, Coach Dennis Love, the father of Caleb Love, the University of North Carolina starting point guard. And for myself, Coach Quick, we'll see you in the gym.
You've been listening to Basketball More Than a Game with Coach Goins and Coach Quick. Our podcast is available on podbean.com.